I look particularly at page 3 in terms of the question of title deed. And Madam Speaker, this matter has recurred in many institutions. Even the judiciary at one time lost the courts in Eldoret to a grabber. And what it must take is a very ruthless, accounting officer, so that any public land that is taken, take it back, then we face the consequences. Madam Speaker, on page 4, about the question of, failing to provide audit documents, while I support the report, I urge the chairman and the committee next time to go further. Because failure to provide answers to the audit report is already unlawful. But now failure to provide them to the committee is also expressly unlawful. And there are measures that the committee can take, including surcharging the particular officer. So I'd urge that next time they go further. On page 5, the question of interest, I am totally in agreement with the committee that the accounting officers should ensure interest is surrendered within 7 days. And in this case, if they fail to surrender, then they should be surcharged. And this should send a message to accounting officers that you should not wait for the auditor to come for the committee to sit over what you already know is the provision of the law. On page 7, I like the idea of the committee reprimanding the particular officer in that particular place, the one who was in charge of HR. But that now brings me to a different subject. Madam Speaker, I think it is time when we write this report, we abide by what the Constitution says. The Constitution says people must take personal responsibility for financial impropriety and for doing the wrong things. This idea of saying the accounting officer, the HR officer, does not make them feel the pinch. If it is Otiende Amollo, you should say Otiende Amollo, who was in charge at that time, should be surcharged, and you indicate the amount. If it is gross, you should be prepared to say that that particular officer, who you name, is unfit to hold public office or ought to be removed from public office. As long as you don't do that, they hide under the banner of a State Department and they don't feel the pinch. Now, I realize that the committee has not done that here because this House had set a precedent. When in Park, about 5 or 4 years ago, we went ahead to name the officers. Some members of this House moved amendment and extracted their name. We should support these committees. We should not diminish them. Because when we diminish them, we are diminishing ourselves. I think it is important that we now start naming the officers. Where it is gross, we say they are unfit to hold public office, we surcharge them within a time frame. And beyond that, Madam Speaker, I think we should have the chair of budget to start looking at this report. Some of these departments that are grossly mismanaging public resources should suffer the consequence of budget cuts, because otherwise they feel nothing. All these reports just become idle. Madam Speaker, I support this committee. I support that we support all the PIC and the PACs in this House. When their reports are brought, if we must amend, let's amend to strengthen them, not to weaken them. Madam Speaker, I support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I agree with you. There must be a point of meeting between the audit committees and the departmental committees, because the departmental committees are the ones that deal with the budget, but these reports should be available when that process is happening. The next chance, Honorable Mutuse, are you ready now on this?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for granting me the opportunity to contribute on this very important audit report by the Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe. Madam Speaker, as you know, Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe is one of the most serious legislators that I have interacted with in this House. He takes his work very, very seriously. And by the virtue of his seriousness, I also vouch for the seriousness of his committee's report. Kenyans need to know, Madam Speaker, that outside the mainstream public service that is superintended by principal secretaries, there are a lot of resources that lie in parastatals, as they were. And therefore, reports of audit committees relating to parastatals are as relevant